Meeting will start in 2 minutes. Morning. I'd like to call the meeting of September 22nd, 2023 to order. Do we have any special intentions? I'd like to ask if everyone could stand, we'll say a prayer in a moment, please. Without invading anyone's privacy, it's my understanding we have a couple of good friends and that are friends and employees of the city and Jefferson Parish and such that are battling some real health issues. So please keep those people and their families and their friends in your prayer. Pray for a miracle and some intervention and some good news for those people, please. Councilwoman McKinney, would you lead us in a prayer?
Yes, Council President. Bow our heads, please. Dear Heavenly Father, you show me your love every single day. I ask that you give me a spirit of humility and gentleness. When I interact with others, reach obstacles or get challenged, I ask for your help in being more patient. Help us to respond with love. Help us be wise, tactful, and kind with everyone today. Amen.
Amen. Mayor Glazer, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. You have a quorum, all council members present. Under correspondence, reports from the mayor, CAO, or department heads. Mayor Glazer?
Okay, thank you. Got a couple brief comments and some announcements. I guess I'll start with this saltwater issue in Mississippi River. Yesterday afternoon, we participated in a conference call with the parish officials and every municipality here in Jefferson Parish to address our concerns in monitoring. Jefferson Parish government controls all of Kenner's water, the maintenance, the billing, I guess the city government has little to do with Jefferson Parish running our water department, but we've been in contact with them throughout the years with needs for the citizens of Kenner. As you know, we're at the end of the line in East Jefferson Parish. Today, the Governor Edwards is going to have a press conference this afternoon. Last I heard, it was around or at 3 p.m. To address the state's response. We do know by talking amongst that if saltwater approaches the greater New Orleans or city of New Orleans, it'll probably trigger a federal response. So if they don't slow it down or stop it before it gets closer to the city of New Orleans, you see a larger response. The Army Corps of Engineers has a website. You can see what they're doing. They actually have a Facebook page that pretty much shows their press conferences that were going on the last couple of days on Army Corps of Engineers, their New Orleans district. And the Louisiana Department of Health and Hospitals will probably issue some guidance on if saltwater does intrude some of our fresh water here, is it safe to run appliances, dishwashers, and ice makers? So be on the lookout for that. The messaging coming for the city of Kenner is only going to be a pass-through where we relying on Jefferson Parish, what they put out, we'll pass on to it. State of Louisiana, we'll push and pass on through Kenner. We're not going to have any statements coming from the city of Kenner because we have nothing to do with the running of the water system. We'll just pass it on what they tell us, which is happening to the citizens of Kenner. So that's with the water. Just pray for rain up north. On some good news, Veterans Park with the upcoming Veterans Day we're having, we acquired a tank. So from up north, we're getting a tank transported down here. Mr. Eddie Renton is donating the foundation it's going to sit on, which is a concrete pad, which is, I know they formed it yesterday. I'm not sure when they're pouring the concrete, but it's going to be pretty much at the front, I guess, on Minor Street in Veterans Park. Last night after a political forum, I was speaking with some residents of North Kenner that had some concern about West Loyola median, trash that's been sitting on the median for, I guess now several weeks, if not longer. So this morning I made the route, and there's actually probably at least a dozen piles of just on West Loyola. I can imagine East Loyola is probably the same way. So our Public Works Department is going to handle cleaning up that whole area and picking up the trash, but we ask residents of any areas, don't put your trash on the median, because when garbage and trash pickup comes by, they're not picking it up off the median. It's going to stay there until somebody reports it to us, and then we have to send our Public Works people out. Just we ask if you put the trash out, put it on your property on your trash pickup day, and it'll be removed. I'm also happy to say that the Laketown Water's Edge, it's been overgrown for probably since Councilman Lahat was a little boy, as he keeps saying, that Risk Tree Service went out in the west edge of the boat launch all the way around to the Duncan Canal pumping station. We've cut all the trees down, cut all the overgrowth down, that we can maintain it much better. The west side of the marina still has probably a half a dozen large trees and some overgrowth on the water's edge that will be taken care of in the near future. Sticking with Rivertown, the lighthouse renovations have begun to try to get it. As you know, after the storm, it had roof damage and wasn't flooding. Water came from the roof down and kind of destroyed the bathrooms and the little concession stand. So we're rebuilding it in an effort to get the bathrooms and the concession stand back up and running. But that may take a little while because it just started. On the repairs of sidewalks after some repairs, July 1st, we have a new contractor doing concrete work here in the city of Kenner, which is Beverly Construction. And it's kind of limped along at best. We have some complaints about it's taken longer than normal to get concrete replaced once we tear it up. So I know Ms. Amy Vallow is going to be on top of it to try to speed up the process of when we repair something, the concrete's repaired, because nobody wants to see broken stuff in front of their house, and we don't want to see it. Trunk or treat, just to kind of give people a heads up, October 28th, you can register for it on our recreation website. Food Truck Fest is October 22nd. We're going to have 25 food trucks, 3 bands, open and free to the public, so with some stuff for small kids to do. Just giving people enough notice to plan for if they want to participate in either one of the events. And the good news is, if you look behind me at this large monitor that you can't see anybody in communications department anymore, it's new equipment that as of today, only on the YouTube feeds, it's closed captioned. It'll be on all our streams, the next meeting, closed captioned. And there is some hiccups when, this is my joke to some, Ronnie, you don't want to know what your last name is on the thing, and Tom, your councilman will not. So, so we'll have it all addressed and all the names entered in before it goes live with the council meetings. So with that said, that's all we have in the mayor's office.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right.
Councilman Wilmot's been in politics long enough. He's been called worse than will not. So, Councilman Brannigan?
Can we add ammo to the tank deal on 15 B today.
Sure. And I have one more, I guess, announcement that, and I got to make fun of Councilman Brannigan because I'd like to welcome, we have a new Recreation Assistant Director, Mr. Terrence Jones. I think he's behind me somewhere, so wave, there you go. And the shot at Councilman Brannigan is that we had an Ole Miss athlete pick a former Tulane quarterback as a recreation director. So what you think about that? How's that going to work for you?
He's a great guy, and I remember his days at Tulane.
Thank you, Mayor. Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. Under resolutions, motions, and other items from the floor, I've received a request to change the order of business to add an item 13A to our agenda. I have a motion by Councilmember Dunn, seconded by Councilmember Schwartz to amend the agenda to add item 13A, a resolution approving the restoration of a non-conforming use at 718 Taylor Street for Sylvester House. Does anyone in the audience object? Seeing none, council members in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 7-0. Under the consent agenda, item 1 is approval of minutes, the regular council meeting of September 7th, 2023. Item 2 is approval of alcoholic beverage permit applications. We have none. Item 3 is approval of bingo and public gathering applications. Item 3A is application number 3664-23. The City of Kenner, District 1, to hold a public gathering on October 17th, 2023, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. for the purpose of a Night Out Against Crime event at Susan Park Gymnasium, 502 Veterans Boulevard, Kenner, Louisiana. And that will conclude our consent agenda. I have a motion by Councilmember Wilmot, seconded by Councilmember McKinney. Council members in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 7-0. The public appearance agenda. Item 8 is public hearings for final passage. We have none. Item 9 is ordinances for the sale, purchase, transfer, lease, and/or alienation of immovable property. We have none. Item 10 is opening of bids. We have none. Item 11 is reclassification of zoning for final passage. We have none. Item 12 is other ordinances for final passage. We have none. Item 13 is resolutions and motions by council members. Item 13A is a resolution approving the restoration of a non-conforming use at 718 Taylor Street for Sylvester House. I have a motion by Councilmember Dunn, seconded by Councilmember Schwartz. Council members in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Hearing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 14 is items removed from the consent agenda. We have none. Item 15 is acceptance of contracts and similar matters approved by the mayor. Item 15A is summary ordinance number 13,358, an ordinance approving an agreement for time and attendance system with advanced scheduling services with Tyler Technologies for a one-time fee of $218,601 and reoccurring fees not to exceed $51,251 annually. I have a motion by Councilmember Wilmot, seconded by Councilmember Schwartz. Council members in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Hearing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15B is summary ordinance number 13,359, an ordinance authorizing a $50,000 increase to the expenditure limit for the purchase of various types of ammunition from Precision Delta Corporation utilizing state contract number 4000-23312 for the Kenner Police Department.
Mr. Morella?
Al Morella, 4260 East Loyola Drive, 5th District, 51 years. I'd just like to know, I know this is increase in the cap. I'd like to get an explanation why the increase.
All right, I can handle that. This is actually a good problem to have due to our recruiting efforts. We brought in probably 5 or 6 lateral transfers from other agencies, and we're about to have an academy start again in 3 weeks which should have upwards of 20 recruits in it. So in anticipation of that increase in the recruiting efforts, we're going to need to up our supply of ammunition. This includes everything from practice ammo, which is fragile rounds, to the actually street duty ammo in preparation of the influx of personnel we're going to have.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you. Anybody got any comments, any questions? Thank you.
And for that tank.
Madam Clerk?
I have a motion by Councilmember Brennan, seconded by Councilmember Lahat. Council members in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15C is summary ordinance number 13,360, an ordinance declaring 5 Ford Crown Victoria police vehicles as surplus and authorizing their donation to the Harahan Police Department. I have a motion by Councilmember Brannigan, seconded by Councilmember Brennan.
Excuse me 1 second, Madam Clerk.
Yes, sir.
Councilman Wilmot?
Chief, I had an opportunity to look at the accompanying paperwork with this item, and I'm just curious, and I know you're going to know this, so, but the police cars that are being donated here, what's the odometers on them? I mean, just in general, are they all over like 200,000?
They're all over 100,000, I'm sure.
They're all over
These are some
100.
old surplus vehicles that I believe didn't even go in the last auction. But they still have some life left in them for Harahan. Harahan's struggling with some rolling stock issues, and as you know, we're all, facing the same challenges from department to department, so anytime we can help them. They have helped us last budget year with some ammunition. I think they supplied us with 35,000 rounds. So we reciprocate back and forth with supplies and materials, but these vehicles are no longer available for our use, but they certainly serve them, and they're excited to get them. So anything we do to help them in their efforts helps us in the long run as well.
Yeah, I see they're all older vehicles, much
Right.
older vehicles, so I certainly understand, and they can get some use out of them as well. So just wanted to clarify that,
And
'cause
we
I
have an
didn't see
auction
anything.
going on right now that we have several vehicles in, so it's not like, that we're getting all the vehicles away. We do surplus them, and I believe some of these might have gone to the last auction, not have been bid on, so.
Yeah, and I just asked that because it doesn't have, the paperwork doesn't have the odoms on them, so I just mentioned it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Councilman. Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. Motion by Councilmember Brannigan, seconded by Councilmember Brennan. All council members in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15D is summary ordinance number 13,361, an ordinance ratifying the emergency repair of the Fairbanks Morse submersible pump at 31st and Washington Lift Station by Fluid Process and Pump LLC in the amount of $23,768 for the Department of Wastewater. I have a motion by Councilmember Dunn, seconded by Councilmember McKinney. All council members in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Motion passes 7-0. Item 15E is summary ordinance number 13,362, an ordinance authorizing the utilization of state contract number 400018930 with Centos Corporation Number 2 to provide uniform rentals and purchases, facility solutions, and safety supplies on an as-needed basis in an amount not to exceed $75,000 annually for the Department of Field Services. I have a motion by Councilmember Schwartz, seconded by Councilmember Lahat. Council members in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Hearing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15F is summary ordinance number 13,363, an ordinance approving the purchase of materials and supplies through the Louisiana Federal Property Assistance Agency. I have a motion by Councilmember Lahat, seconded by Councilmember Dunn.
Councilman Brannigan?
I looked through the backup of this data. What are we buying with this contract?
I can tell you that one of the things we just bought was a K-9 unit that was surplus by the state police for one of our K-9 officers. You get it at a very reduced rate. I think we paid $9,000 for the vehicle.
Okay.
It was totally equipped with all the features that a K-9 would need as far as heat detectors, the alarm that if the air conditioner goes out and the dog's in the vehicle, automatically rolls the windows down, get the fans going and alerts the handler. So, you know, every now and then when we're looking for specific pieces of equipment, this is the manner, this one and the next item, these are the manners in which the federal government and the state surpluses their equipment. It's everything from public works type of heavy machinery, heavy motors, things of that nature, to law enforcement equipment. So we get it at a third of the cost through these surplus venues.
That's a great deal. Thank you.
So for instance, the vehicle we got is all the equipment, lights, sirens, emergent vehicle, detection equipment in case the air conditioner goes out. It's ready for the handler and the K-9. So it's a heck of a benefit.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. Ms. Fowler?
No, I was just reiterating what the chief said. Typically, you have to prepare these documentations both for the federal and the state surplus. So we have selected individuals within Kenner Police Department, Public Works, Recreation, all the different departments, so that we're able to have access to look at some of the equipment that they have that may be beneficial for the city here.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Councilman. Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. Council members in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15G is summary ordinance number 13,364, an ordinance approving the purchase of materials and supplies through the Louisiana Property Assistance Agency. I have a motion by Councilmember Dunn, seconded by Councilmember Schwartz. Council members in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15H is summary ordinance number 13,365, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from R&S Corporation to upgrade the jail control panel computer and call-up integration system in accordance with letter bid 23-2087 in the amount of $21,304 for the Kenner Police Department. I have a motion by Councilmember Brennan, seconded by Councilmember McKinney. Council members in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15I is summary ordinance number 13,366, an ordinance approving amendment number 1 to the agreement with MB3 Incorporated doing business as Civics for professional services related to Hurricane Ida recovery to amend the services, budget, and term of the agreement. I have a motion by Councilmember Brennan, seconded by Councilmember Lahat.
May we get a clarification or explanation, please?
Good morning. We have been working with Civics with our regular CDBG. However, when Hurricane Ida hit, we realized there were a lot of federal monies that we wanted to make sure that we would be able to procure. So we've been working with Civics to work with LHC. Through their efforts, we were able to have Restore come to the city of Kenner directly and help our citizens. We were the only area with that many visits from Restore. They actually did an afternoon visit or evening visit. That was the first time they did it. We've also been working with LHC, the Louisiana Housing Corporation, to look for things that we can do to bring affordable housing back, also to help those homeowners and landlords repair the houses that we have in Kenner. Also working with the Housing Authority because we have so many vouchers, but 300 families are displaced from Hurricane Ida because they were living in homes that were damaged. So we need to get housing back for those people. So what they're doing is helping us work with our state partners and federal partners to get as many resources into the city for our citizens. Any other questions?
Councilman Wilmot?
Ms. Shaw, thank you very much for that explanation. In the header, it indicates that it amends the services, budget, and term of the agreement. Could you explain that? The services that are being, I guess, added? and the budget, I guess, that it's gonna have a
What
dollar
the-
impact, and then the term of the agreement, I guess it's the length of the
What they
contract.
were doing in our original agreement was charging our CDBG rate, but this is now the CDBG DR rate, which is disaster recovery. So it's $110 an hour. They're gonna be charging us $125 an hour, because we're gonna be needing more, expertise, especially on the housing side, to make sure that we can get this housing together for the city of Kenner.
And you pretty much already disclosed the services, but the term of the agreement is, I guess it's extended?
Well, yeah, because that other contract was getting ready to expire, so we changed the term to extend the contract.
Do we know how long that term?
It's just for a year. Because in the original contract, Councilman Wilmot, it was for a year with 2 optional years to renew.
Okay.
So this is gonna be the second renewal, but we needed to change some terms to reflect the new rate and additional services that we need them to do to make sure that they continue to move forward, working with those state and federal partners to get them here in the city of Kenner on the ground.
Perfect. Thank you for that explanation.
No
Ms. Shaw.
problem.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Councilman Swan?
Ms. Shaw? Yes. I'm sorry. I surprised you there. We talk about getting people housing. What about the ones that are already looking for assistance for roofs and damage that still have blue tarps and still have damage to the roofs and all? Do we still have something going on, programs for them as well?
That's what we're working with LHC, because what happens is, Councilman, after Katrina, the federal government is only sending the money. They used to send it directly to the municipalities, but that's no more. They're sending it to the state. So LHC is the agency for the state, Louisiana Housing Corporation. They handle all housing programs, so we have to work with them to get funding down to the municipalities and to the parish.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned because some of my constituents said they've been called 2, 3, 4 weeks and have not had to receive a phone call back from them.
Okay.
You know, and they were just like, well, we call and we never get a phone call.
Okay, so after this meeting, you can talk to Ms. Jones, the director, and she can see what we can do, if it's something we can handle here. I can tell you now that we are waiting on our grant agreement, because this is a reimbursement program. While the city can and has in the future, in the past, we have put the money up and we've just waited for HUD to reimburse us. We're in a looming shutdown, so we are very particular about spending money right now because we don't know when we will get that money back. So we have not been using our 2023 agreement, even though it starts July 1. HUD has not sent us the grant agreement to start, so we can start expending those funds. So we're working on old money right now.
Those funds come in annually or
They
fiscally?
come in annually. The program starts July 1. However, HUD sends us a grant agreement for the mayor to sign, and then we send that back to them. We've not received the grant agreement for 2023. Can we start? They will pay up to 25% pre-cost, but if we go over that, then we're going to be responsible for that money as the city.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes.
Yes, I noticed in the contract it also mentioned AP Clay and Annie Washington.
Yes.
Would this be included in trying to get those 2 buildings
Yes,
back
they are
up and
working with us to get our Section 108 loan, because with the AP Clay, we have a provider that's met with the administration regarding getting a health care in the city of Kenner. We've never held a clinic in the city of Kenner, especially in South Kenner. In South Kenner, it's a food desert as well as a medical desert. So we are trying to work with that provider to bring those services to South Kenner because it fits all of the qualifications for the grant that we're trying to get a grant and a loan. The grant requires that it's in a low moderate income section and that it's in the medical desert. And that building where we have the AP Clay fits all of the definitions. So they're working with us to do that with the Annie Washington, as you guys know, for the council people who were here before. We were working on that building. We were about 85 to 90% finished the building. Hurricane Ida came. Because of the damage done to the building, it has to be demolished. So we have secured some other funding, but of course with construction costs, it's not enough. So they're helping us look for other funding so we can demolish that building and start building that building, put it back into commerce. Any other questions?
Councilwoman
Yes, Ms. Director Shaw, I just have, is any of this funding potentially reimbursable?
Yes, that's what they're helping us with, because we're trying to seek as many grants as we can get. So this was not something that, we're looking to do grants, and if we get a loan, the city of Kenner's had a loan before. The way it works, it takes us from our annual allocation, so it's not money we're paying back, it just deducts that annual amount for 20 years. Councilman Brannigan or Councilman LaHad, any questions? All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Shaw. Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. I have a motion by Councilmember Brennan, seconded by Councilmember Lahat. Council members in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Hearing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15J is summary ordinance number 13,367, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Beacon Air Conditioning, Heating and Refrigeration Incorporated to furnish and install a 3.5 ton air conditioning and heating upgrade at Musbertolino Concessions, 620 West Esplanade Avenue, Kenner, in accordance with letter bid number 23-2088 in the amount of $13,800 for the Department of General Services. I have a motion by Councilmember Brannigan, seconded by Councilmember Wilmot. Council members in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15K has been, by the legal department, requested to have a one-meeting deferral. So I have a motion by Councilmember Brannigan, seconded by Councilmember Brennan to defer this for one meeting. Council members in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passes 7-0. Item 15L is summary ordinance number 13,369, an ordinance approving amendment number 1 to the agreement with Linfield, Hunter, and Junius Incorporated dated May 8, 2023, for engineering architectural services on an as-needed basis for the Kenner Police Department facilities to increase the not-to-exceed amount by $300,000 for a total not-to-exceed amount of $349,900. I have a motion by Councilmember McKinney, seconded by Councilmember Wilmot.
Chief, can we receive an explanation, please? Yes, sir, Mr. Morella.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask for. Al Morella, 4260 East Royal Drive, 5th District, 51 years. Explanation, big increase, 300,000.
Yeah.
Thank you, Council.
And it's a not-to-exceed amount. Currently, we have a $49,000 contract that was approved by this council with that firm. This is roof damage as a result of Ida. It's in litigation, so we have to have an expert report in place. But it's for preparation of thorough roof assessment reports for 6 different roofs. 5 of them are at the campus at 500 veterans, and the other ones across at the training facility. They're necessary for the claim purposes as well as FEMA reimbursements or any other grant money that we should get. We have to provide the proper documentation for these claims. It's also preparation for necessary plans and specifications for any repairs. That whole roof has been an issue for some time. Since Ida, we still have water intrusion. We still get drywall damage, carpet damage. We can't replace anything under the roof until we get to the fact of the matter. And some mitigation work was done under the last administration, but we literally have cardboard walls, just slabs instead of carpets. So once we go forward, there's an assessment done. This firm will do the actual spec work that's going to go out for the bidding purposes for any contractor that comes in. You need that to ensure warranties on the work that's done. You also need that for FEMA, for anything the insurance company does not cover. You're going to need this kind of expert report and analysis and spec work done to get reimbursed through the FEMA process. So it's a not-to-exceed amount. We don't expect it to be that much, but we certainly need to have it ready in case it does.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Council.
Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. Council members in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 16 is ordinances and resolutions in summary for first reading. Item 16A is an ordinance granting Entergy Louisiana LLC a right-of-way servitude and easement in that area known as Highway Park Subdivision, plots A-3A and A-2A-3B bounded by Williams Boulevard, 44th Street, Lake Pontchartrain, and protection levee right-of-way for the location. Construction, reconstruction, improvements, repairs, operations, inspection, patrol, plate replacement, and maintenance of electric power and communication facilities, and providing for related matters. Item 16B is an ordinance ratifying the emergency repair to the Rivertown roof due to damages sustained from a tornado on September 3rd, 2023, in the amount of $19,850. Item 16C is an ordinance approving a cooperative endeavor agreement between the City of Kenner and the Parish of Jefferson to provide funding for replacement of a tot lot and construction of outdoor fitness stations at both the Betsy B. Hammond tot lot and Rosemary Minor tot lot in Kenner, Louisiana, not to exceed $320,500. Item 16D is an ordinance accepting federal funds from the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development Transportation Alternatives Program, TAP, to provide a multi-use path, pedestrian bicycle along the south side of Veterans Boulevard, Loyola Drive, and Williams Boulevard, Phase A, City of Kenner project. Item 16E is an ordinance approving amendment number 1 to the agreement with Ivy Waste LLC for solid waste collection and recycling services to amend section 6.4, increasing the service unit pricing for open containers, roll-off, grit, and screening containers, and solid waste containers. Item 16F is an ordinance approving amendment number 2 to the agreement with Ramelli Janitorial Services Incorporated for solid waste collection and recycling services to amend section 6.4, increasing the service unit pricing for open containers, roll-off, grit, and screening containers, and solid waste containers. Item 16G is an ordinance ratifying the emergency repair of the Fairbanks Moore submersible pump at 27th and Dawson Lift Station by Fluid Process and Pumps LLC in the amount of $31,650 for the Department of Wastewater. Item 16H is an ordinance approving amendment number 1 to the agreement with H&O Investments LLC to provide grass cutting on an as-needed basis, increasing the not-to-exceed amount by $200,000 annually for a total not-to-exceed amount of $583,832.73 annually for the Department of Field Services. Item 16I is an ordinance accepting federal funds from the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development Transportation Alternatives Program, TAP, to provide a multi-use path, pedestrian bicycle along the south side of Veterans Boulevard, Richland Street to Loyola Drive, Phase B, City of the Council and/or special committees. We have none. Item 18 is new business. We have none. Item 19 is unfinished business and our motions to reconsider or remove from a table position. We have none. Item 20 is persons wishing to address the council on special subject matters.
Mr. Al Morello?
Al Morello, 4260 East Loyola Drive, 5th District, 51 years. Once again, to the scum who bubbled out of that sewer called New York City. They're not used to people defending their police departments like I defended ours, so they gotta think along the lines of it being second up. Okay, I received the communication from them last month, okay? And so they want to know how it tastes. Well, we all understand that their intellect is very limited, and so is their train of thought. So I guess I would rather that than to be sucked up by one of our lift stations with the sewage, like they are, okay? And then, I understand now why social media is their favorite way of communicating. Unfortunately for them, I don't have a computer. So they made an attempt to write a communication and send it airmail, and they return address airmail because of the cowards that they are. But I found out they're illiterate. They can't write. That's why they chose social media as their favorite way of communicating. Now, With that said, I want to express my heartfelt thanks to everyone who was involved in getting that tank for our Veterans Park. Now, one other thing in closing, I can't stress the importance enough of our citizens of participating in their government and getting to the polls on election day and voting. House Bill 165 in the last legislative session would have gave power back to the people to be able to put referendums on the ballot with certain issues, bypassing local councils and state legislatures. The bill was killed in committee, and the argument was not enough people participate in their government or go to the polls on election day and vote, so they don't know what the issues are. I can't stress the importance enough. That's what we need to do. Participation in our government. We're the government. The officials that are elected are our employees. They wait for us. Anybody got any comments, any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Morella. Trinity Martinez. If you would just please state your name and the district you live in for the record, please.
My name is Trinity Martinez, and I don't know who my district number
That's
is,
okay.
but anyway,
You
it's
have
on
3 minutes, please.
42nd in California. Is Mike Glazier's in the house?
Yes, he is.
Well, I know Mike very well. He knows me by Tiny Martinez, and I'm not a troublemaker. I'm here to help the council get in trouble. I'd like them to look at these pictures, please. Now, I heard one of your councilmen earlier talking about fixing pavements and corners and stuff like that. Well, that's what this is all about. And probably it started because I made a little noise for the last 2 weeks. This corner has been like that for months. Children get off the bus right across the street. Now, you're looking at those pictures, and that's the way it was when y'all got finished with the sewage. Okay? Since then, the kids have tore down the stakes. You can see the tape laying on the ground because they're inquisitive. That's what they're going to do. Now, I did talk to someone, and they got back with me at the beginning of the week. And they talked to the contractor, and they said that the contractor said he would be able to get to it within 2 or 3 weeks. Now, this is months that this contractor had opportunity to fix this corner and hasn't done so. And I'm quite sure he got paid months ago, and he is just ignoring it. And to me, that's not acceptable. I am very sorry. Now, since then, I don't know who it is, but somebody went back out there and they put the stakes back up and they put the caution rivets back up and they even put some orange and white cones back up. You know how long that's going to last with these kids? They're inquisitive. They're going to pull them up just like they did the other ones. They're going to tear the tape down. And God help it that don't happen, that one of these kids gets seriously hurt getting off the bus and crossing that, because they're not going to walk in the street. They're going to walk right through that corner, and they're going to play, and they're going to pull, and they're going to knock cones over. And I just hope that y'all can get this thing fixed as soon as possible before somebody gets hurt very badly. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. Ms. Valai?
There we go. How are you? Yes, sir, my apologies with regard to that. We've retained the services of a new flat work company with wastewater, so the delay has been on their part, and both the Department of Wastewater Director and our Public Works Director has reached out to Beverly to see what the holdup is with regard to the installation of sidewalks throughout the city. We have a couple of other issues that I've spoke to other council members with regard to that, so we will be getting down to the bottom of it. But as the mayor indicated, this is a new contract that we entered into with Beverly in July, so I think maybe there may be some learning curves here, but we've tried to explain to them the importance and the urgency of their services. So I will have our wastewater director, I believe is whom you spoke with, sir. So we will get back with you as soon as humanly possible to make certain that we can get the repairs done.
Thank you very much.
Brian. Mr. Martinez.
Brian.
Mr. Lahat, Councilman.
Yeah, Mr. Martinez, I'm your councilman, Joey Lahat. I actually spoke to one of the owners of Beverly Construction yesterday. They're very much aware of the delay. They told me this coming week, maybe even Monday, they're going to come do this. So I'm going to go out there Monday afternoon. If they're not there, I will personally check into it again. But I have spoken to the actual owners of Beverly. And Stephanie, my assistant's been on this all week. We've spoken about you probably about 15 times, so we're trying to get this pushed. And so if you have any other issues, Stephanie will reach out to you, but I'll be out there Monday.
Okay, thank you so much. But I have one more comment to make.
That's fine.
Last week, I thought the council meeting was last Friday, and I went to the building next door, and this lady let me in. Very nice lady. And she didn't have to do what she did, but she got on her phone and she started making inquiries. And just like I made inquiries and nobody could help me, nobody could call me back for the last month. But she sat down and she kind of looked into this whole thing without, she didn't have to do that. But y'all ought to congratulate this lady.
We have a great staff. That's all of them. That's Natalie, that's Teresa.
Thank you.
And Stephanie King is the best council assistant of all 7. So you got the best one out there, of course. Sorry, Wendy. Wendy's looking at me with some weird eyes right now.
Jeez.
Thank you.
Mr. Taft.
Greg Taft, 5th District. I just have a couple quick things I want to bring up. At the park, Laketown Park, it was mentioned that we were going to start working on the concession stand and trying to get that back open, which personally I think that would be great. The problem is that, especially probably during the weekends, we have people actually going through there totally destroying the place. Leaving beer bottles all over, leaving trash all over, even though there's a trash can maybe not more than arms away. I know we're low on people, but can we have somebody, whether it be from Parks or KPD, to patrol the area once in a while, just to let people know they are being watched? And maybe that will deter some of that, because it is happening. And it doesn't make us look good, because I was reading an article today, why some people are leaving Louisiana. And one of the things that came up in that article was the quality of life, which is when you're in a place, it is clean, it is palatable, and you're proud to be a part of the community. And our parks, to me, is one of our biggest assets. And to have it, and I don't know why these people do that, because these are grown people. I mean, to get beer, I don't think some kid's going to go out and buy beer. Could be, but these are grown people. We just need to have something that will cause a deterrence until we finally get staff to where we can actually have probably somebody that is responsible for the area, because that to me is what should be happening, since you have people there and we have our equipment there and they could get hurt. So I mean, to me, if we could do that, I think that would help a lot in slowing down some of that trashy look. As far as the mediums, Mayor Glazer, those people that talked to you last night, they're exactly right, but it isn't just West Loyola. It is all over the medium. people, for some reason, I don't know if it was because of Katrina or what, but they feel like they can just dump their trash in that medium, when in reality, you're not supposed to dump anything in the medium. That medium is not for the people to dump trash, but yet it's happening. And it's also happening where cars are being parked on the medium, and they're not supposed to do that either. So all I'm saying is when you're looking at quality of life.
Excuse me, Ms. Taft, men? Go ahead, please. No, go ahead and finish, please.
Oh, all I'm saying is when you're looking at quality of life, maybe with just a few little tweaks, we can make a difference for the city. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Taft. Councilman Lahat?
Yes, on the Lake Town garbage issues, Chief Conley and Mike Glazer and myself are in constant communication about adding more police to Lake Town. I actually had a text the other night from Patrick Johansson, who's a great District 3 resident. He fishes off the pier all the time. He sent me a picture saying, Joey, there's a lot more police cars out here now. It's fantastic, a lot more lighting. He sent me a picture. And every time I ask Chief Conley for that, they do it, but they do it already. They already send more units out. You know, I can't help if there's an element going to Lake Town every weekend that's throwing garbage, smoking weed, throwing beer bottles. I've been out there. I was out there one time on a Saturday with my kids, and someone did a wheelie in front of me. And within literally 90 seconds of me calling Chief, that guy was pulled over, and they were given a reckless driving citation. I hate that element. I agree with you on that. I'm determined to get some type of more permanent, maybe a substation in Lake Town at some point. We've been working with JEDCO to get some economic ideas. I very much have said that during my term, I want to build something in Lake Town where the police can maybe station their bikes, or at least have a spot to, you know, have a little substation. So I'm trying to commit funding to that or find it. But we have added, actually, Recreation has added garbage guys on Saturdays and Sundays to pick up garbage. We are emptying the garbage cans. If we can't keep up, if they show up at 7 a.m. on a Sunday morning, there's beer bottles all over a bench. I know people take pictures of that. I get them. But I don't want that element out there. I can't force it out there unless we close down Lake Town at night, which I don't want to do because we have a lot of longtime residents who fish off that pier well into the nighttime with their kids. And that's a family environment, which I love, and this is Louisiana. I don't ever want to shut down Lake Town at night. So this is a very, you know, salient issue for me, which Chief Conley and Mike Glazer constantly are immediately response with me about, and I like it. So I am in tune to this, and I get daily phone calls on this and pictures from people who are out there. But we've relit it. We've got the police out more often. We've added garbage collector guys, and we just redid the boat launch. We just have a lot of things moving, and we're going to keep bootstrapping this onto some really great things. So thanks for the comment, but we are in attention on that.
Thank you, Councilman. Mayor Glazer?
And also to add to that, the west side of Lake Town, which is overgrown, the raised portion of it has been, I guess, grass hasn't been cut. What we learned when we went out there to see if our people can cut it is there's mounds of debris that were dumped through the last couple of years and just overgrown. So I think Mark Glorioso has already met with one company to give an estimate to grade it so we can maintain it as a large open field. Once it's done, I know there's another company going next week to give an estimate of grading it, leveling it, and see exactly what it is going to cost us, and we'll come back. And under the mayor's comments, I don't think it's going to need council approval, because I can't imagine it's going to be over a couple of $1,000s to run a bulldozer across it and just kind of knock some weeds down. So that's coming in the near future. I think hopefully by Thanksgiving it'll look totally different out to the west side of that whole parking lot.
Thank you, Mayor. See no other comments, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.